We've named some team captains for the 2022 football team. Special teams, Case Hatch. On defense will be Kyle Soleil, Merlin Robinson. On offense, Ladarius Henderson and Emory Jones, quarterback. Honorary captain will be Michael Matus. He will be honorary captain all year. He will travel with the football team. Starting quarterback going into opening day will be Emory Jones. He's a starting quarterback. Going forward, I think we're in the mode now. We've got 9 practices left. So as we close in on the opening game of the season, obviously a lot of things get honed in on your opponent offensively and defensively, and we're kind of getting into that mode. This is always the hard part for coaches in college football because you have so many guys that have been competitive all year. Now you got to worry about guys dressing. Pac-12 rule is when you go on the road, you only can dress 74. How many are you going to dress at home? How many are going to be in the polo shirts? This is always a hard part right now, when you're talking about how many guys will actually dress on game day. We generally dress them all for Arizona. That's always been the history. That has been agreed by both parties. But now going forward, I got to determine what guys are going to dress, what guys are going to be in polo shirts. That's believe it or not, that's always hard because these kids work so hard, and it's hard to have 110 guys on the sideline. It's just not very efficient. People getting away and all that. So we'll work it out. I've kind of learned how to work it out. Other than that, I think we had a pretty good practice today. As you see, we went inside. Half of it was outside. We've had some guys, because of the heat, lose a lot of weight. And that's a concern for some of these guys. We've got some guys nicked and bruised, but pretty much, we're kind of healthy, to be quite honest. It'll be fun now as we get into the game planning mode here next couple weeks, and then determine, what are going to be the guys that play, special teams, offense, defense, that give us the best chance to win. So that's kind of mode we're in.
Over here, Herm. Chris Cartman, Son of Source. So why Emory Jones, and what did you think about how he's practiced so far?
I think there's been great competition, to be quite honest, and we knew that coming in. It's from spring ball, and he just got here, and obviously he's been here now. He's the guy that's, to us, has proven that he can move the team in a bunch of ways. You guys have watched him practice. He can make some unannounced plays. And I think when you deal with quarterbacks, that's the thing you worry about. The play that's not scripted. He can get off script and go make a play. Obviously, he's played. It's not like he hasn't played at a high level. He has. So I think the competition was good for him to earn the trust of his teammates and the coaching staff. And all the other guys have improved. When you look at our quarterback group, it's Paul has done a nice job. Trenton has done a nice job. Dalen as a guy, when he got here, I kind of look at his progress over the last 2 years, kind of where he's going. It's kind of fun to see him grow up a little bit, right? So there's a bunch of guys in that room. It's a pretty good unit. I spoke to him yesterday about who the starting quarterback was. I went in the room and talked to him and just made him well aware that you're all one, I twisted my ankle away from going in the game, right? And that's the reality of it, and we know that. And I just think right now he's the guy that gets to go out in the stadium and start the season off for us.
Emory's unannounced plays, his mobility, how much perhaps more value does that have when you have some questions about your passing game and their wide receiver position?
Well, I think regardless, when you say the passing game, because we have so many guys with not a lot of playing experience, but I think we got some talented guys. I really do. I believe that. Now it's just kind of the cohesion we have to just build with those guys, right? But even if you have established receivers and all that, the unannounced play by the quarterback gives you a headache. It just does. And you never know when it's going to happen. That's the problem. You can't say, well, on this down, you know, the chart says this is what they like. When the quarterback drops back, I always know I'm nervous, especially the ones that we have to defend that I know they can run. I'm like, okay, make sure we got him, you know, and all of a sudden we're hollering coverage. We got great coverage. That even makes you more nervous because now the coverage is covering them, but are the passing lanes intact? And does somebody run too far off the edge where you give them a window of escape, right? And then they start running, and then you look at them and you go, guys, we can't, you know, do that. He did that today a couple times. And, you know, and he really took off, and it's like, whoa. And you just saw it. That's interesting. You know, because I think, obviously, we're getting to the mode now where he's preparing himself along with everybody else. I got to get in the game mode here. I got 9 practices left, right? It's no more about training camp. It's let me focus in. And I saw that in a lot of guys that have played football today. You could just see their intentions now. It just kind of got, you know, and when we went inside, boy, I tell you what, we got a fast football team. I know that. We're fast. We can run.
Michelle Gardner, Arizona Republic. Backup quarterback, assuming Tyson or
There's just,
whoever?
but just, you know, there's never, who's ever available, whoever we decide in that game, you're going in, and both those guys have done a great job. Tyson and Trent, they're doing good, and they're both a little bit disappointed. You could understand that, the whole room, but they get it. I mean, they play a tough position. Only one guy can play, unless you're a team that, you know, kind of shuttles the quarterbacks in, and that's nerve-wracking. You don't want to have to do that. So they're capable. And I told them, I said, offenses are all about the quarterback and how you build it. And I think what we found is with the other 2 gentlemen that you just mentioned, along with Dalen and all the rest of the guys, we kind of know who they are and what they can do well. And I think regardless of what happens, if one of them has to go in the game, we got to tailor it to his strength, right? We got to tailor the offense to his strength.
Tim, Matt, and then Jeff.
Tim.
Herm, how are you?
Good.
What does it say, Herm, about Emory? Not only is he now your starting quarterback, but for a kid that wasn't here in the spring, that just got here for fall camp, he's one of your co-captains.
Well, I think it's interesting because, you know, most quarterbacks have some leadership qualities. And you can tell it. Even the guys that aren't the starters, they have leadership qualities. And you need that in the quarterback. I actually talked about that in the room yesterday with the quarterbacks, how important that was. And they all lead different, right? You know, you don't have to be rah-rah, but there's certain mannerisms they bring. He's kind of been good with the whole team, not just the offense, but the defense. And I always say the great quarterbacks, as good as they are on offense, they're even better to the defensive guy. Because they know every time the defense makes a stop, it's like, okay, you know, I'm good, you know. And it's just, or if they turn the ball over, you know, you've seen great quarterbacks, bail me out, D, and they're the first guys to congratulate those guys when they come on the sideline. Hey, they didn't score, you got the ball back. You know, I didn't put us in harm's way. So he has a lot of that, and he's got some energy about himself. He likes playing football when you watch him. You know, you just watch him practice. You just go, oh, okay, he kind of likes this. You know, he likes the competition of it all.
Are you surprised that he was able to earn a captaincy? Or
Well,
from what you said, it's almost like you expect a quarterback to have some kind of leadership quality.
We got 43 new players, right? And it's just, you come in and, like, you kind of embrace the room, and I think he understands the importance, and all these quarterbacks understand the importance of, I got to capture the room. That's my job. I didn't tell him that. I think guys just kind of know that. That's part of the deal of being a quarterback.
Matt Venezia, HouseSparky.com. Coach, you've encouraged the competition within the quarterbacks, but was the expectation when you go out and get a guy from a big-time SEC program that he was going to be the guy? Was that what you were expecting back in the spring?
Well, I think what you expect is you get a guy with some experience, right? Because you look at that room, there weren't a lot of guys with experience in there. You know, when you lose your starting quarterback that's been your starter for 3 years, that's okay. What do? I got a room of young guys. I got to get a guy that's actually played some too, right? I mean, that's That's part of the deal, you know, no different at any level. And he was able to do that, and he played at a high level. And when we first started communicating with him, I mean, you could just tell he was looking forward to coming out here and visiting. And that was we had a great visit with him and his mom. You know, we did all our background checks. He checked us out. We checked him out, you know, and there was a lot of conversation. He talked to Jaden, to be quite honest. You know, Jaden had a good conversation with him. Jaden told him all about his head coach, the guy that he was getting ready to meet. He didn't know me. I mean, he knew me from, you know, whatever, but I thought it was the first thing he said. I said, Coach, talk to Jaden. I said, good for you. I was going to tell him, call him. You know, tell him. He'll tell you what this is all about. So I think, you know, all these kids communicate. We're kidding ourselves. They know it. You know, they know somebody else. They talk. And, you know, you got to know that as a head coach. That guy may leave because of the portal or whatever. They know somebody coming in or know somebody. It's just they're all connected. It's amazing in the world they live in, right? They all connect. I had no idea that he knew him. You know, they had known each other. I don't know if they knew each other, but he called him. So that's what happens. It's all good.
Oh, okay. Coach Nick Borgia, Devil's Digest. For those that haven't seen Emory play before, for those fans, for the Sun Devil fans, what can they expect in September?
You need to come watch him play. For all those that haven't seen him play, come on in the stadium, fill it up for us. Come on in there. I'm not going to tell him. You got to come watch him. You know, it's like the sneak preview. Come watch him. Come to the game. Go watch him. You know, it's like I always want to know the episodes when the Game of Thrones was being, you know, like, they give me that little snippet. You know, I got to wait 1 week to go see it. I got to go watch it, right? Come watch us. Come watch this whole football team play. Come on out. We have a great fan base, and we do. They just need to come out and watch it. A lot of new players in this thing. A lot of players on this team that they have never seen play. They need to come watch it. It'll be fun for them. It'll be fun for our kids, too, to have that great fan base that we have.
Hey, Coach. Jack Loader, Devil's Digest. Last year you mentioned a lack of kind of reps and experience together being an issue with the passing game between Jaden and receivers. How is the chemistry kind of gelled with Emory and the first-team pass catchers, and how can they avoid having a few games of learning period?
Well, there's going to be a learning curve. There's no doubt about it. Anytime you have a new quarterback and a bunch of new receivers, got some new tight ends, right, as well. The guy that's kind of has been here as a running back. We've got some new running backs as well. So at those skill positions, there's a lot of newness to it, and it's a little bit of a new system. So it'll take, like I said, week 3 we'll kind of know what we are a little bit on both sides of the ball. Defensively, I think it'll be interesting. Defensively as well. We've had played pretty good defense around there for the last couple of years. And AP did a nice job last year with them. It'll be interesting now the secondary, how that all kind of unfolds. Who will be those guys? But as you said, the pass catching, running routes, being familiar with the quarterback, you can do it in practice, but you got to feel it in the game now. And to be quite honest, a lot of these players, I've never been with them on the sideline. I don't know how they're going to act during the game. I have no idea. You don't know. A lot of the kids I've been with, I know their emotions on the sideline. There's a lot of guys. I haven't been with Emory on the sideline. I don't know when he comes off the field. I don't know if it's a negative series. I don't know his disposition. Like a lot of guys, they don't know my disposition. It's pretty, for the most part. But it's interesting when you talk about so many guys in our lineup. All of a sudden, that under the lights, I don't know how they're going to react. Find out. It'll be fun to find out.
Based on what you've seen over the last 3 weeks, would you say you're more confident in your ability to throw the ball down the field consistently than last year?
Oh, I think you have to be able to take your shots. I mean, it's, football is about, explosive plays, moving the ball in chunks. And we've got some guys that I know they can run fast. And if they get in some spots, I mean, you get them the ball, you can score. You gotta take your shots. You gotta throw it down there. It's foul ball if they don't catch it. 2nd and 10. But if they catch it, it's a big play.
Coach, is this team where you'd hope they'd be at this point, first day of classes when you started camp?
Yeah, I mean, because it's kind of funny because the new guys, they've been, a lot of them been in college somewhere else. Now, we got a couple of JC guys, and the JC guys are always interesting, to say the least. But they understand, okay, I talked to them today about being a student athlete. How school starts is different. Meetings at night are gone away. There's no more walkthroughs. Now you got to deal with going to school now and being in class and doing all that stuff. That's another thing on your plate. They come from training camp, and now they're a student athlete. Pro football, you go from training camp, you're still a pro football player. Right? There's a difference, and they gotta mesh that now. Right? There's a lot of people on campus. When they got here, it's like nobody here. Now you can't walk through that parking lot. Right? There's so many people. We watch those kids come in with their parents. You got parents crying, dropping their kids off. It's just, it's amazing, And the life is back on the campus. Not saying it wasn't before, but all the people were gone, and now they're back, and it's like, whoa, okay, here we go. So they got to deal with all that. Yeah.
You're 2 weeks away now from game one.
Uh-huh.
Are they where you want them to be heading into that?
I would
week
say
one?
any coach would say no. That would be I mean, I always want a little bit more. I wish we could do this, but that's what it is. Let's coach it. We understand that.
Coach, I know you talked about Emory's
Yes.
position with the team and getting good with the defense, but how do you feel the growth with you mentioned the receivers, even with the offensive line, just getting on the same page with them?
Yeah,
Building that.
and that's the key, being in the huddle with guys. And I think the more, and it's like anything else, it kind of solidifies you offensively. Because this is the guy now. He's going to be the voice. If something bad happens or negative play, he's going to be the voice I hear all the time. That's comforting the players. That he's the guy now. He's the quarterback. Okay, I got it. Not saying all these other guys are capable, but he's the guy right now. So they all understand that. When he speaks, they go, okay, he's the guy. He's the quarterback. When he walks out on the field, he's the quarterback. We get it. So it's, we got some veteran offensive linemen that have been other places too. So this team is a unique team. It's different since I've been here. It's fun. It's fun for me. I like this. I like just kind of putting this puzzle together, right? See what it looks like.
And then to follow up, you said Michael, obviously not very down.
Yes.
Obviously tough to lose him on the field, but what does it mean to obviously still have him around?
Oh, it's a blessing, and we got to pray for him. His surgery is today. He's just, I love the guy, man. I can remember when I went to his house in Texas. It's just, he's just grown up. That's what you get, when you're a college coach. You watch him come in as freshmen, and they're kind of, and now you watch him as a young man, how he's grown and how he's captured the team. The team just respects him. He's earned their respect with his play and just things he's done. He's on the leadership committee as well. He's just, you see a young man growing up in front of your eyes. They're all like my sons, And some are harder dealing with the other ones, and some are really good, but they're all the same. You hug them all the same, right? You love them all the same. So that's what I enjoy, watching them graduate, man. That's, for 11 guys to sign NFL contracts and all 11 have graduated, that's pretty good. That's a good sign. We're trying to build young men, and that's important. Yes, sir.
Herm, is there any update on Jordan Clark or Nesta?
Yeah, they're like week to week, we're just kind of seeing where they're at. They're both going to be okay, for sure. But along with Seven, they're all going to be all right. Yeah, to Marcus, it's just can we come back in time? We're not going to rush anybody to come back, but it's nothing where it's season. It's nothing like Matus. There's nothing like Matus at all. It'll be okay. Thanks for the question. Same, we rested him a little fatigued. Nothing serious about him either. You know, he should be okay. And you know, you got to pick and choose with these guys, right? You know, who you're resting. You know. The heat is a factor for some of these guys. You know, because they haven't practiced. I mean, you know where he's from, right? Yeah. It's a great place, but you know, you don't have a lot of days like this there. I don't think.